Hey, it's B Dollar again, and today we got a special review happening, and that is TNA Lockdown, Chicago, Illinois. I was actually at that show from Sunday, and I actually want to talk about it. I went with a few of my friends. Ellie, my co-host, was with me too to go to this show, and I gotta say, I really did enjoy myself at TNA Lockdown. I thought it was actually a really great pay per view. I liked what was going on. Obviously, it's a different perspective when you're there live than what you see on TV. And I did kind of go back to see a little bit on TV because I actually did kind of miss one match. When we did get to the building, we got there when the show was actually starting. The show started about 5 o'clock over here in Chicago. I was actually surprised how early it started. So I know the pre-show is at 4 o'clock. So I got there about 5, and I gotta say, I think it was a really great crowd out there. I don't think it was a sold out show, but I think most of the seats were filled up to what I saw, and a lot of people really were at that pay per view on Sunday. So I just want to talk about what I saw at the pay per view, and let's kind of get right into it. Now, like I said before, I did not get there for the pre show, but I did kind of go back to watch to see what was going on in the pre show. I'm not gonna have much to say about it, so I'm kind of probably gonna skim through it. So what I saw was that it was the Righteous versus Rich Swann and BDE. I know the stories that they're still trying to get BDE to get a win in TNA right now, and now that he's teaming Rich Swann, they've been trying to find some type of win, but still haven't been able to get it yet. The Righteous end up winning this match. I gotta say with the Righteous, I don't know where they're going right now, given that they were feuding with the Hardys for like almost 8 months, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even think they ever won the tag titles, which is kind of crazy, and we'll get to that part later on in the show. But I guess they're supposed to be faces, or they're supposed to be going after BDE now. So I don't know what they got the Righteous doing because they feuded with the Hardys for like forever at too much in time. Which I was wondering where that feud was going anywhere. For BDE, like I said, I know the guy came from YouTube and whatnot. I know who he is, and has been trying to get a win. I don't know if it's going to end up with him getting mad at Rich Swann, and then they're going to feud, and then probably going to go against him to get a win. It probably will happen. I'm not really sure, but he still hasn't been able to get a win yet, so I'm not surprised that the Righteous won here. What I saw, the other pre-show match they had was Agent Zero versus Trey Miguel, who went full Spider-Man mode out there. Obviously, because of the new Spider-Man movie, Brand New Day is out. Great movie, by the way. I recommend everybody go watch it. But I don't have much to say about this match. I was actually surprised Agent Zero lost here. I know it was by a roll-up, so it's a bit of a fluke win. Which I don't even know how many matches Agent Zero's had this cover. They've made him such an imposing force being part of Order 4 and just, looking very powerful against everybody that you don't really know much about him. And he just mostly got wins. I don't know why they had him lose here. So I know it's like wasn't really like I guess it was a clean win, but it was like a roll up and stuff. But yeah, I don't know about Agent Zero like taking L's already since you've had this guy look like a monster in Order 4 most of the time and going through everybody. That it's very mysterious. So I don't know, man. I think the big guy shouldn't really be just taking L's like that out of nowhere on the pre-show. So odd decision. But as the first match did start, obviously with TNA Lockdown, and let me say this too about TNA Lockdown. They have not done a TNA Lockdown in over 10 years now. I'm actually surprised it's been that long since 2016 they had TNA Lockdown. Because when it comes to TNA Lockdown, every match is a cage match. And yes, we did have a Lethal Lockdown match, which we'll get to later on. But yeah, this is the first time in 10 years a Lethal Lockdown has happened. And the first not Lethal Lockdown. I said Lethal. Well, you get what I mean. TNA Lockdown pay per view. But the first match we did have the night official match that was a cage match was AJ Francis versus Elijah. I didn't know why this feud is still going on. I thought Elijah already won and got his music back, but this still is continuing out there. Obviously, both these guys just start going at each other immediately. Elijah, I swear, he likes hitting that old school move now. Even off the top rope, well, ain't the top rope, he did it off the top of the cage too, which was pretty crazy. We'll probably get more into that. I know both of these guys did ram each other to the cage several times. AJ ended up doing like a sunset bomb onto Elijah off the top of the cage almost, which was pretty crazy. I will say that for a 2 count. Elijah, I know he did like an elbow drop out there after that. Well, I got a phone call, but he ended up going to the top of the cage and did like a big, like I said, he did like the old school Undertaker move, but like off the top of the cage, which was pretty crazy. AJ then, got him after that, just going with strikes back and forth until Elijah ended up like taking him down like a brain buster from the top of the cage, which was pretty crazy. Next thing you know, Expressions came to the ring where he was wheelchaired to the ring and he had a neck brace on. Um, Elijah basically threw Francis to the cage so he could like stop getting speared and whatnot. But AJ ended up try reversing like the old school again and hitting them with I think called the cash shot, I think it's called. And then the cage was about to open through the door. And well, they say you can't win a match via escaping the cage, which I'll get to the rules of this too. So you can't really just escape the cage. So I think you can't win this match by escaping the cage. There's gonna be some strange rules in this match because even I've had friends even point this out when we were there. But I know Elijah ended up putting AJ back into the ring with him and hit like an F5 on him after that. He tried to get to the door then, but Expressions ended up slamming the door on his head. Francis gave him a spear. Expressions ended up taking his neck brace and elbowing his jacket out there, almost like some Ric Flair type of stuff. So he was totally healed after that. Elijah ended up doing like a Canadian destroyer, which was crazy out there in the half of the cage right there, which was insane. But Expressions came in and broke up the pin. Elijah ended up picking him up, throwing him in the cage a few times, hit a tombstone on him, and then right after that, AJ hit him with a big moonsault and then hit the down payment for the win. So he beat Elijah here. So I'm not sure this feud is going to still continue. I actually thought it was over after the first match they did, but apparently not. So I don't, like I said, now both of them have a win apiece. So we'll see what happens. But I didn't think they were going to still keep continuing this feud going on. Right after that, as they went through more of the matches for tonight, we got next for the Knockouts Tag Team title match, which was the Elegance brand versus Allie and a mystery partner, because Rosemary, I think, was taken out in the last live episode of Impact, and we haven't really seen her since, and Allie needed another partner. I know they had the concierge out there talking about Chicago and the Bears, and that the fans are felons, so basically the Elegance brand came out there as Sexy Police. I don't know where Ash by Elegance is, Dana Brooke, whatever you want to call her. I feel like I see her one time, then she's out due to injury, or she's not medically cleared. Some say it's a boob job, so I'm not really sure where she is at right now. So I guess she's injured again, but she hasn't really been seen in a minute again. So she wasn't out there. But Allie's mystery tag partner was Kiera Hogan, a returning Kiera Hogan back to TNA. Honestly, I didn't know where Kiera Hogan was since AEW. The last time I really remember her doing anything in AEW, she was part of Jade's crew. I don't know if she was on Ring of Honor at this point or not. I didn't know if she was even still in AEW in general, so I really kind of forgot about her. And the last thing I kind of heard about her doing was on like reality TV. I think they said she was on that Zeus network, which y'all don't get me started on that. You want to talk about something that set black folks back? I'd stay away from that channel. That shit sets niggas back a whole bunch of years. But not gonna get on the Zeus network on right now. But that's why I heard she was doing reality TV. But I guess she decided to come back to wrestling now. This makes sense in a way because I guess if anybody remembers that Undead realm thing they used to do. I know they had Kiera Hogan part of that. And obviously they mentioned Kiera's past accomplishments on commentary from being with the whole Fire and Flavor with Tasha Steele. So yeah, she was back in the company. Still looks great, by the way. Not gonna get into that, but I think you can get what I mean. But to say much about this tag match, which is kind of weird to be doing like a tag match. If it's a steel cage match and we have the titles on the line, why do we need to still do this by regular tag team rules? It ought to be just a tornado tag and anything goes at this point. So I don't know why they got to do like regular tag rules in a side of a cage match. I thought that was kind of strange. The most I can say about this match, I know that Mr. Elegance tried to get involved in the match, climbing the cage and like using throwing a baton in, so like Header by Elegance can hit her with. I know at one point, what was it? Like here, I know she was doing like several hip attacks and whatnot, but I think Header by Elegance, which given she's so small, she was able to just fit through the cage holes and just slip right out of there. And I guess she had got some handcuffs and everything. And I don't know, maybe it was different on TV. It like some say they said the camera was like focused on Header and Allie just kind of fighting over the handcuffs, almost missing the finish with Kiera like getting the win onto M by Elegance, which Kiera Hogan and Allie ended up retaining the tag titles. But I and this match wasn't really that long, by the way. Anyways, I don't know, it's because of the mystery partner and whatnot, but I don't know. It's kind of like I feel like it's a little bit off of camera though, because it's like okay, Allie's focused on Header by Elegance with the whole handcuff thing, and Kiera's doing her thing in the ring and just kind of wins the match. I'm like, oh, it's over. Okay, it was basically done at that point. So I guess, like I said, I don't know if Kiera can sign back with the company like that, but at least she did more here than where we could say she did in AEW. Okay, like I remember more what she did in TNA than what she did in AEW. Like I said, I didn't even know she was even still with AEW at this point till she came out there. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised. Next, which I thought was one of the best matches of the night, was Moose and Frankie Kazarian, which you have to escape the cage in this match, though. I know they had Moose come out there with his like big throne chair and had like a basically a musical quartet, instrumental, doing his entrance theme and whatnot. I know Kazarian ended up sitting on the chair before getting back into the ring. I know he tried to escape the cage immediately. Moose said basically went after Kazarian and just, threw him into the cage a few times. Kazarian kept trying to escape, but Moose stopped him. Moose speared him about 2 times. It was going to walk out, but Kazarian put up his middle fingers to provoke Moose. Kazarian ended up dodging the last spear and backdropped him into the cage then. Which he ended up hitting like an angel's wings on him then right after that. And they start going back and forth with punches right after. Moose saying fuck you, but started hitting him with a headbutt then. Does like the senton and whatnot. And I know they ended up trying to go to the top of the cage. Which what was it? Kazarian hit like the big springboard leg drop off like the ropes and everything, or off the like the turnbuckle, because he was like had his legs stuck in the cage and doing that, which was pretty crazy. Moose did Kazarian did like the yay boo punches right after that. I know they ended up both kind of climbing the cage right after. Moose hit a big Spanish fly onto Kazarian off the top of the cage, which fans started to chant, holy shit. That was insane. That was a crazy move right there. But then like Moose went back at Kazarian, but Kazarian got him with a cutter right after. And Kazarian was like trying to get to the cage door to get out of there. Moose ended up hitting him with a spear, which knocked Kazarian through the door and landed on the ground, which honestly I kind of felt like I knew what the finish was going to happen anyways from there with Moose. When Moose, just spearing him, giving out his position. It's like, all right, Kazarian's about to win this, which Moose was basically pissed off right after. So I did enjoy the match. I don't know if it's going to keep continuing with Moose and Kazarian, depending on how long this is going to keep going, because I know they've been building this matchup for a few weeks on TV. Maybe they keep going into Bound for Glory, because basically giving the cage match was like a fluke finish. It basically was a fluke finish, because Moose ended up, taking out Kazarian, accidentally knocking him out of the cage and stuff, spearing him, which he didn't mean to do that, but Kazarian got the win by getting out of the cage. So that probably will continue. Next, Xia Brookside went against Elena Black. Elena Black being from Chicago, Illinois, obviously got a pretty big pop. Basically, I did enjoy this match. I gotta say, Black bled heavily out there. I don't know how deep of a cut it was, but she basically had the crimson mask. Like, Brookside was really getting a lot of offense on her, even taking her belt off and like sticking the belt inside of her head and whatnot. And she was just bleeding heavily, and Brookside just kept punching her from there, just spiking her and whatnot. Fans chanting, "You sick fuck," right after. What was it? Right after that, Brookside ended up just like trying to just basically going for the wound on her head several times and just whipping her with the belt, like just sticking her to the cage and whatnot. Elena was able to fight back though, dodging Brookside and just like slamming to the mat then, and just hitting several moves on her right after. I know they got to the top rope and everything, which Brookside ended up like a big suplex, or feel like a back suplex right after. Both went back and forth with the punches and whatnot. Brookside like the code breaker on her and did her finisher DDT, but Black ended up kicking out of it. And then like Brookside got like some dust, it looked like. She got like some powder, which from my point of view to where I was sitting, it looked like the like the powder she threw in Black's face never even hit her in the face. Like that's what I saw. I don't know how it came across on TV, but it's like she threw it, but it's like all of it fell out of her hand before they could even get to that. I thought the finish was kind of weak to what I saw, and so it's like Brookside, like I said, she threw the dust in her face and rolled her up for a 2 count, but like rolled her up for the win then right after, which one thing I'll say is I don't even know when Elena Black turned face. I don't know when that happened. And it's almost like they turned her face because it was Chicago and she's from here, and we needed some of the hometown, somebody from Chi-Town to be a face. So I thought it was just kind of random. They turned her into a face. Well, yeah, Brookside getting the win. I didn't really think she was going to lose the title here, anyways. But like I said, I think a lot of people did enjoy the match out there. Some people I know thought this was their favorite match of the night, and they thought like Black was really like selling crazy out there in this match and just bled heavily and stuff. So overall, I think it was an enjoyable match, and Black, just took a bow in front of the crowd right after. I don't know how it came across on TV, but the fans cheered. I will say this, and even one of my friends said this, that Carlos Silva, which I am sick of seeing that guy. I'll be honest, I was really trying to start a "fuck you, Silva" chant out there because this guy is an idiot. Like, I'm sorry, he really sucks. He does. My friend called him an Adam Silver, like wannabe from the NBA commissioner. He's just some idiot hat. I just don't like this guy. He sucks. Like, he really freaking sucks. Like, I don't get me started on him. Like, I've said enough as it is already, but I just like he is a problem with when it comes to him in this company. Um, right after that, it was Jason Hotch versus Mustafa Ali for the international title. Mustafa Ali coming out with the Order 4. Basically, having dressed like, mafia guys out there and having Tommy guns, which Ali, like, shot at the screen and everything and stuff. And I know they show Jason Hotch's wife and kid at ringside. Both of these guys immediately. Once again, I think this was a great match, too. These guys went crazy. But Hotch immediately went right after Ali before like the match even like the bell even rang and stuff, brawling and stuff. Hotch was like going at Ali hitting like the DDT and just like him like a power bomb. He was really going after him, even trying to hit like a power driver, but that didn't work. I know he like a power bomb on them right after. Ali ended up coming back with a DDT then. Agent Zero ended up closing Agent Zero opened the door because Ali told him to, but Tasha Steelz ended up closing the door, then making sure like Ali would stay in there. Mila Moore got involved, like trying to stop Tasha Steelz, but Tasha ended up hitting her then right after. Hotch ended up knocking the door, knocking Tasha Steelz onto the ground then, which John Skyler ended up carrying her to the back so she was unconscious. But Ali ended up hitting like a big suicide dive onto Hotch to the floor again. Both of them start brawling at ringside, going to the announce table, and whatnot. And then Hotch like put him, like kept knocking him onto the cage and everything. And then he climbed to the top of the cage, ended up doing like a crazy crossbody through the table, which was insane. I thought it was insane. I know Ali kind of jumped a little bit so he could make sure he catched it, but man, that was insane stuff he did right there. So Hotch ended up getting up. He had like the injured ribs and like he was spitting out blood onto the floor then. Ali and just started laughing then. And then next thing you know, he took like the little dinosaur toy from Hotch's daughter and had a lighter and whatnot because they tried to carry Hotch up out of there almost like the match was over. But I guess he ended up just goading Hotch back in because he was going to set the toy. He was going to set the toy on fire. Okay, that's what he was about to do. Just to like try and rage bait him and stuff. Hotch ran back in and stopped Ali and just tackled him right after. But Ali ended up recovering, taking him down from like the trio wall right after, and then taking the belt from him and start whipping Hotch's chest and stuff, and just making his family watch out there. But Hotch ended up getting out of there then, going back after Ali. I know they ended up both going to the top of the cage, but he went to the top of the cage and then did like a cave in, like a double stomp from the top of the cage onto Ali, which it didn't even look like he hit all of it, but it was crazy. Ali ended up coming back and hit Hotch with a spear, and then he like took the Ali, like he kept Hotch kept hanging on to that dinosaur. He wouldn't let go of that dinosaur, So Ali hit him with a 450 then, but Hotch kicked out. But then like Ali just did like another 450 for the win. So he ended up getting the back the international title. And by the way, the crowd was not gonna turn on Ali. Like they were still chanting Ali, and he tried to do as much heel stuff as he could, and I think it did work. But like Mustafa Ali is from Chicago, so he was not gonna turn. Like the fans were not gonna turn on him. They were never really gonna turn on Ali, and he was doing as much as he could to get heat out there. I know it was a short title reign for Jason Hotch and whatnot. Honestly, I feel like they ought to just be moving Mustafa Ali to the world title picture because I think the guy's been a great heel in TNA, but I guess they still want to keep going with this international title thing, or if he's still going to be feuding with Hotch to see how that's going to go since he keeps terrorizing his family and whatnot. But I like I said, they really are trying to make Jason Hotch into something right now as a single star. So we'll see how this thing keeps going with both of them in this feud. But I really did enjoy this match. I thought it was great. Right after that, Gia Miller was out there for a special interview. And I did hear about this on Sunday before I went to the show. But the son of AJ Styles, Avery Styles, was there at TNA. And Avery came out basically doing like AJ's entire entrance from the hood to this, like the whole hood thing, throwing up, even having the Ring of Honor Demigod's theme song, like just straight up, even the logo too, like just straight up all AJ Styles. And Avery said he wanted to share something with the TNA fans, and that TNA has meant a lot to, like, come on, his dad was the face of this company at one point, and that, he said AJ wouldn't be what he is without TNA, and Avery said, he wouldn't be with TNA, so he's officially signed with TNA Wrestling. And let me say a few things about this, and I do believe this that a lot of people saying, okay, are they really signing this guy after like 2 matches? Like he's only had like 2 matches in his career. And given everything we know about the whole chair situation, if he set up the chairs, should he have not set up the chairs? Not setting up the chairs this time. Not setting up the chairs this time. Regular show, folks, watch it. But the whole story behind that is if he's paying his dues or not. And listen, I haven't really seen the guy wrestle. I'll be honest. I'm actually surprised this guy's not even in NXT right now. I'm surprised he's in TNA. And some people believe like the reason why he's even getting signed right now. Well, he's the son of AJ Styles. So I know a lot of people are gonna say he's a nepo baby, or nepotism can get you a long way, and obviously this can do. We've seen it with many um kids of legendary wrestlers and stuff, son or daughter, so and get a huge push. So I don't really know. Like I said, this guy's only had like 2 matches. I I haven't even seen the guy wrestle, and maybe I should look at. I don't know if he wrestles like AJ. I don't know. I really don't. I'm gonna have to go watch. He's only had like 2 matches, so I think it's very interesting. He signed with TNA, and maybe because his dad is AJ Styles, which once again that gets you a long way. And I don't know the whole chair story because there's been so much buzz about it, and AJ getting involved, and I know it's been debate of paying dues and should he have set the chair, should he have not set the chairs, like I said before. I don't know, but then again, he was flown out just paid to wrestle. Maybe he could have helped, yeah, but he wasn't getting paid, and I'm sure a lot of like other wrestlers have commented on this that he doesn't have to set up the chairs, that they never had to set up the chairs before. That's the ring crew's job, and like maybe the referees because they're part of the ring crew that lets the wrestlers want to help, I guess. But now everybody's saying he's got heat or something. So I don't know. So it's like, are we signing this guy because of what we've seen in the past week about setting up the chairs and not setting up the chairs, or is it because he's AJ Styles' son? So I don't know. It's a very strange thing in a way. So like I said, I'm sure people are gonna be calling him a nympho baby. Oh, I'm sorry, nepo baby. That's Zillified too with the nympho baby one. But honestly, during this segment, Frankie Kazarian came out there and he said he's the king of TNA now. Like he's like the one of the basically last TNA original around here, I believe. He says him and AJ Styles are closer than brothers, and that him, AJ, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels formed this bond that can't be broken to make what TNA is today. And that told Avery there's a lot of snakes in that locker room, and I guess he just basically said, I'm going to look out for him and stuff, and they'll try to take you out because of your last name. And he said, you can't trust the locker room, but you can trust me. And Kazarian headed to the back after that. So, I don't know where this is going to go. I do want to see what he does in TNA, which once again, I kind of said this earlier too. I was surprised AJ didn't put him in NXT. And I know a lot of people going to say this is just for a pipeline to get him into WWE, which, like, don't. No, I know, actually, I know I've gone on many times to talk about this quote unquote partnership when it comes to WWE and TNA, which I honestly just wish it ended at this point because I just seen enough of this. It's not as bad as it is right now, but I don't really still like it. And I'm gonna get more of that when we get towards the end too. It's like them being a pipeline. We've lost too many people in this company as is anyway, so they really do need people. But I'm getting to that later on. But we'll see what happens with Avery Styles. But I just think it was kind of strange. Like, this guy's had 2 matches and he's already signed here. So I'm like, yeah, interesting stuff. But as anybody would say, nepotism can get you a long way. Right after that was the X Division title on the line, which was Leon Slater versus Cedric Alexander in a last man standing steel cage match, which is crazy to say too. And here's the thing. If Cedric wins, and this stipulation makes zero freaking sense here, all of Leon Slater's accomplishments in TNA will be erased. So him being like the second longest like X Division champion and anything he's done in this company will be erased. Which, why does this help Cedric? I don't know how this really helps him. It's not like Cedric was close to being the longest reigning X Division champion anyway. So I just thought it already meant Leon Slater was going to win this match. And some people thought if he lost, they just thought he was going to WWE, like erasing all of his records in TNA. Because I think that's even, like, the people I was with, they asked me. So it's like, so yeah, is he going to WWE soon or something? Because that's what it looked like. And by watching this. But I think this stipulation was pretty stupid. And even they had like a whole, like, chart for it to explain it and his accomplishments, but I didn't think it made any sense. I did like this match though. I think it was gonna go a little bit crazy in here. I thought it would be, but given that we've already seen enough crazy cage matches throughout the night, I still think it was good. But maybe because we've seen some more wild stuff in the cage matches already, it's like how can they top that? I know Leon like immediately went after Cedric. Then I know he got like with a blue thunder bomb, if I'm not mistaken. Chopping him right after, giving like a big Michinoku driver off like the top rope and stuff. I know, like, say like he get the beat 10 count, hit like Canadian Destroyer on him. I know he was bleeding out there. Slater, like, they was going to the top of the cage and like he threw Cedric's head to the cage and he started bleeding after that. Slater like did like the what was like the I thought it was like the whole tilt-a-whirl thing, but just like a whole helicopter into a blue thunder bomb, which is pretty crazy. They start going back and forth with kicks right after. Slater hit him like a big like cutter and whatnot off the top rope. Both of them like held each other to get up right after, but Slater got him with like some kicks and whatnot. And then he hit like 3 lumbar checks on him in a row. It hit like his big 450, like, Swanton 450 out there, which was always crazy to see. And I always had to remember this was a last man standing match. I kind of forgot at one point because, like, why didn't he pin him? But like I said, Leon Slater ended up retaining the X Division Championship. So, won back the X Division Champion. I shouldn't be saying retain, but he won it back. So, like I said, he's still with the company and whatnot because a lot of people think it was kind of over after this. But I figured Slater was going to win anyways. I just didn't really see him losing given how ridiculous this stipulation is for this match. So, I like the match, but the stipulation just did not make a lot of sense. Like, if you lose your entire record in this company. I'm like, what is this? How does this help the heel other than just retain the title? I just thought it was kind of odd. I know, what else did they have? I think Elijah was beat up in the back as Santino and Daria Ray were trying to figure it out. So we don't know who's been beaten because I think Moose got taken out one week and then Cedric was taken out last Thursday. Which, by the way, I even think Moose or Cedric even never mentioned it about them getting beat up by this mystery person. So it's like they weren't even mad about it. It just kind of happened. So I don't know what happened that, but I guess the mystery person will be revealed on a live episode this Thursday on Impact. So we'll see what happens there. But right after that was the Lethal Lockdown match. The System, Eddie Edwards, Bear Bronson, Brian Myers, and Alicia Edwards versus Fabian Eichner, Ricky Sosa, Casey Navarro, and Jada Stone. The first two out there were Fabian Eichner and Bear Bronson, which they got a bit of a stalemate going back and forth. Brian Myers came out then as the system had the numbers advantage. Casey Navarro was next after that. Which by the way, I know he was trying to like take down both Bear and Myers as Eddie Edwards came out there, which immediately Navarro and him like a suicide dive to the outside before Eddie could get in the cage. He almost even hit that move all the way too, because like he tripped on the ropes at the last second. But right after that, bang bang, Ricky Sosa was out. Ricky Sosa was very over. I think his entrance really helps, and fans just chant bang bang Sosa Sosa. And I'm not talking about the other Sosa, okay? We're not talking about I don't like, which is kind of crazy because like people actually thought I was talking about Chief Keef when I first brought up Ricky Sosa. When they hear like bang bang and Sosa, a lot of people, especially from Chicago, they probably would associate that with Chief Keef in a way. And I had a few people that said that. But no, this wasn't the case here. But Sosa was very over. I know he ended up taking out everybody and whatnot and doing his bang bang Sosa chant. Alicia Edwards was out there next and basically, just kind of stare down with Sosa, but Eddie attacked from behind. The last person in this match was Jada Stone, who made an entrance, climbed on top of the cage, and then just did like a moonsault on everybody, which was crazy. Right after that, the Lethal Lockdown match finally began, and they lowered the cage with the weapons and stuff. Which, by the way, Bear Bronson, before the cage even coming down, he went to the outside and threw a whole bunch of chairs in the ring. The Faces ended up grabbing most of the weapons off of the roof and stuff, from kendo sticks and like barbed wire baseball bats, to like a stop sign, I believe. So there was a lot of weapons in there. I know Casey Navarro hit Eddie Edwards with like the kendo stick and stuff. Like Jada Stone was really like trying to whip a lot of people with that kendo stick and everything. Which, by the way, and I saw this, I don't know if this was mentioned, because when that kendo stick was going off, like you could see pieces breaking that it went into like going towards the announce table. I swear to you, like when whoever hit who with the kendo stick out there, one of the pieces of the kendo stick flew into like one of the cameraman's face, and I saw it myself that he had to go to like the medics because he probably got hit in the eye. It looked like he literally had to stop. He got hit. Like I definitely saw that, so that was kind of crazy to see that. But I know Alicia, she ended up getting involved, like hitting like a low blow onto Ricky and KC after that. Ended up hitting Eichner in the balls also. Jada Stone had like some thumbtacks in and, just put him on the ground. So you already know where that was going to go. Alicia ended up getting out of there, escaping Jada Stone, trying to not get hit by the thumbtacks. Stone ended up putting Alicia like into a superplex into the thumbtacks, which was pretty crazy. Eichner had a trash can. He did like a coast to coast thing off to Eddie Edwards. This was pretty wild. Bear Bronson like hit like a barbed wire baseball bat into Eichner, which was like it stuck to his arm to get him out of there right after. So that was crazy. I know Bear got like a barbed wire table he was setting up in the ring and whatnot. I know Casey got out of it. Even Sosa like hit like I think they were going like a double finisher and whatnot, because like I think like Casey like hit like the what was it? It was like a kick, and then like Sosa hit like his headshot into Bear Bronson to the barbed wire table. Then Myers ended up hitting like the roster cut on the Casey while he was in a chair. Sosa ended up hitting Myers with a Blue Thunder Bomb into thumbtacks, which was insane. With Sosa ended up grabbing some barbed wire and like wrapping it around his arm and everything. Which like going for Myers with the headshot, but Alicia ended up breaking up the pin in. I know they had some chairs set up in the ring and whatnot. I think Eddie hit Sosa with the Boston Knee Party right after, which he ended up hitting like a package power driver onto Ricky Sosa on the top of the chairs and won. So the heels ended up getting the win. I actually didn't think the system was gonna win this match. I really didn't. But they did end up beating the Faces here. Interesting that they pinned Ricky Sosa, given he's one of the most over people. I would say for this match and whatnot, and people love doing the chants and stuff. So I know some people are gonna question that. So I guess they wanted to make the system look strong here. Even I do feel like when it comes to the system, I don't know if they ever really look strong like that all the time, but they wanted to make them look strong right here against the Faces. So I don't know. You especially when people know someone say like, do you really want to be beating like the newer talent right now that are trying to make a name for themselves and whatnot? Or maybe this is going to continue and this leads into Bound for Glory. So we'll see what happens. But the heels end up winning the lethal the Lethal Lockdown match. Right after, I know they talked about well, I can't believe I forgot this. I guess it was selling that guitar that Elijah had earlier and hit AJ Francis with. I almost forgot to explain at the end of the match because the hometown man handed him a guitar to hit Francis with after the match, so I almost forgot about that. But we do get to the main event of this show, the Nemeths versus the Hardys for the TNA Tag Team Championships. By the way, Nick Nemeth is the TNA World Champion, which they did the world title match on Impact, which was Jeff Hardy and Nemeth. Thought it was odd that the world title was not on the line on this pay per view, but the tag titles were. Obviously, the Hardys were gonna be super over right here, and they came out with like their goat mask, and Jeff even having like his immortal heel theme out there, which is still great to hear. Which they had their regular Hardy music came out then, and like I said, it's basically a tornado tag, and the faces were like in the offense. Obviously, I know they had a table in the ring. The Nemeths, trying like the Hardys just like hitting their moves out there. From the poetry and motion and stuff. Nick's coming back with a famous throw on the mat then, and everything. After that, Matt ended up knocking Nemeth to the mat, hit him with like a twist of fate. But Ryan Nemeth ended up like stopping him there right after. Jeff ended up hitting Nick with a twist of fate right after, but Nick came back with a super kick. Basically, all four guys were on the ground then. Jeff, I don't know, like Jeff, I think he like another twist of fate on Nick Nemeth. Matt hit Nick with a side effect right after, where Ryan broke it up. The Hardys ended up doing like what was like a combo. I don't know, like it was a double finish. It looked like onto Ryan Nemeth, which was for a 2 count. Fans started chanting, "We want tables," which the tables already set up in the ring. They were just waiting for somebody to do something. Mostly for Jeff Hardy to probably do a swan time off the top of the cage. That's what I was waiting for, honestly, too. But we'll get to that in a second. But Ryan Nemeth ended up hitting Matt with a low blow because they were setting the table up. Jeff ended up breaking up the pin then right after, but Nick got him a super kick again right after. I know like Nick was like I was like tuning up the band and whatnot, but Matt gave him like the side effect right after. Um, right after that, they had to Matt ended up hitting like a twist of fate onto Nemeth, and he put him on the table. Jeff was going for the going for the to the top of the cage to do a swanton, but Nick ended up stopping it then. Jeff and Nick ended up falling off the top of the cage onto the ropes, double crotch and whatnot. And then like Ryan ended up getting out a twist of fate from Matt in his own for a 2 count. Which then Matt did end up in a twist of fate right after. Matt ended up going up halfway through the like kind of climbing up the cage, which I know some people thought I was gonna do a leg drop, but I knew that wasn't gonna happen. But he hit him with an elbow drop right after. I haven't seen Matt do an elbow drop ever since I went to TNA a couple years ago, I believe, and he did like that leg drop on the Moose in that crazy hardcore match. Nick though, he ended up in like the danger zone on the mat, which I know some people are gonna be confused about the finish, but Jeff's leg was like stuck in like one of the ring skirts and whatnot, and he was trying to get out of it, but he couldn't, and he couldn't get the mat in time after Nick hit the finisher on Matt. So yeah, the Nemeths are now the tag team champions, and now Nick Nemeth is a double champion, is the TNA World and Tag Team Champion. Even commentary did say that the last time we've even seen someone hold both titles, I think when Kurt Angle was holding like all the titles in TNA at the same time, and that was many years ago at this point. But the Nemeth brothers start popping champagne in the ring. But next thing you know, Leon Slater immediately came out there and talked about his legacy in the X Division is cemented. But he wants to add another thing to one more to the TNA history books, and he wants to be TNA World Champ. Well, at least the X Division part. He wants to announce Option C and wants to go for the TNA World Championship at Bound for Glory and become the youngest TNA World Champion in TNA history. Which Slater ended up handing the belt to the idiot with the hat there to make the match official. Nick tried to jump Slater from behind, but Slater ended up taking out both the Nemeths with super kicks as he posed with the world title to end the show. I do want to say this. I know some are going to say it is pretty rushed right now when it comes to doing this, because the minute I saw Leon Slater, I knew it was going to be Option C. I didn't think it was going to be Option C right now. I know some people were disappointed, probably want to see a title change right then and there. So I don't know. I guess Nick's going to be working double duty. I guess going for having the world title and the tag team titles. But I will say how can I say it's about Leon Slater? I don't know if he will win it Bound for Glory. I would like to see it. I don't know how. I'm sure people are going to be questioning his contract right now. Right now, TNA really needs some stars. They really need something because there's too many people that have left this company in the past couple of months. Okay, and maybe I probably should have made a video about that, but they have lost a very significant amount of people in recent times. Losing Mike Santana is a blow to this company. It really is. So it's like you really. I don't know what the contracts are when it comes to TNA and whatnot. But you may really want to try to lock down Leon Slater right now. Like, you really do need names. I know they're trying to build new talent. I know the booking has changed a little bit more now ever since they got rid of Tommy Dreamer, like about what was it, a month ago now. Like, don't get me started on that whole thing. I personally think he needed to go. I don't know. Maybe some people are liking Delirious's booking right now, or whoever's on the booking team. I'm not sure. I still think the idiot with the hat needs to go because I don't really think he knows what he's doing half the time. But I think TNA really needs to stop letting a lot of these people, like, you lost a lot of people in these past couple months, okay? So they are trying to build, like, new stars, but you can't keep building them and just losing them to WWE all the time. That's the problem with this whole partnership, if you want to call it that. Um, it's like, come on, man. It's like you're just losing to NXT now at this point. Because even though I still think it's weird, Mike Santana, his name is changed on NXT, even though he's been seen on that show like multiple times in the past and called him Mike Santana, but he went by a different name now, which is crazy to me. But I'm not going to go into that right now. But they really do need to, like, they got to build new stars, but you can't keep losing this many people this amount of time because it's like who's really in the main event picture scene right now other than like what a Nick Nemeth or I guess you could say a Jeff Hardy. I'm really trying to see who else is in the main event picture. Like I'm seeing them try to do stuff with more guys like Slater and Ricky Sosa or Casey Navarro, and, a few other names here and there too. They are trying, and I don't know what's gonna happen with Avery Styles, so we'll see what happens there. But they got to start really doing something. You can't keep losing this amount of people in this short amount of time. Because I'm like, who is really in the main event picture? Hell, who's in the tag team picture scene right now? I'm honestly surprised the Hardys even lost in some sort of way here. Because like they had the tag titles all the time. I actually thought the Righteous would have at least won the tag titles one time, beating the Hardys, and that never even happened, given how long that feud was. But one little feud with the Nemeths again, like they've already lost the tag titles. So kind of crazy when you think about it. Me personally, I enjoyed TNA Lockdown. I had a fun time there, me and my friends. I think it was great. I really did enjoy myself. I enjoyed the show in general, and it was cool to be there live. I think it was one of the better TNA pay-per-views I've seen in a while, so I really did enjoy the show. Like I said, I think my favorite matches out of the night, I enjoyed the Lethal Lockdown. Um, I did like Kazarian Moose. And I really did like Mustafa Ali and Hotch. Even Black and Brookside out there outside the finish, I enjoyed that match. Even the Hardys, even though I just like seeing the Hardys in general because it's come on it's Jeff and Matt. But I didn't think that title change was gonna happen. But I did enjoy a lot of matches on this show though. The Avery Styles signing with TNA, like I said, the jury's out on that, so we'll just have to wait and see. But I just still think it's kind of crazy that they really did sign this guy after having like 2 matches. Is it because he's AJ Styles' son, or are we going off the buzz with the chairs thing right now? Just really think about that for a second. But I know it's going to be a live episode this Thursday on TNA Impact, so we'll see what happens. But other than that, with Lockdown, like I said, I really enjoyed the show. So comment, subscribe, tell me what you think about TNA Lockdown. Did you enjoy it? What was your favorite match of the night? Did you even like seeing TNA Lockdown returning after this many years? Like I said, I'm surprised it's been over 10 years at this point. And I'm glad I got to go. And one thing I will say, at least they were actually in Chicago this time, in the heart of the city, downtown, and not in the outskirts of Chicago. But other than that, though, like I said, comment, subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. I'm sure the next review we have coming up is All In. That's going to be coming up later on in the week. So we'll see what happens there. But other than that, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys then. Peace out.